Welcome back to my podcast, everybody. So today's video is a daytime chat with Jazzy, and we're going to be calling on more guests to join my podcast video, and we're going to chat and share our opinion on today's topic. And I'm going to ask them a question, they're going to share their opinion, I'm going to share my opinion, we're going to have a conversation like last video. Just, a real conversation. Nothing scripted. A real conversation. We're going to get deep, hopefully, and really into it. So, hi. Hey.
So, I put on my wig for this one. It's not hot in my room, though.
It's hot in here, too. The question is, can your partner have a best friend?
No. Now let me stop.
And why or why not? Like, why they can't have a best friend?
You want me to answer now?
Yeah.
I feel like it depends on the situation, because I feel like you pick up vibes from certain stuff. Like, some people just be calling other people their best friend just to, like, be like, oh, that's my bestie, or that's my fave, like, just for the hype of it. But then sometimes people really be best friends. But then to me, it's like you never really know. So sometimes I feel like if you trust the person, you just will have to take a chance on it, because you don't want to be too controlling. Because some people are really, you feel me, just friends. But then people be sneaky, and in this generation, it just get crazy. So I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yes. Because sometimes stuff like that make you feel uncomfortable when you're in a relationship. That's how I feel about it. And it also depends on what you've been through as well.
Right. But what did your friends say? Like, tell me some of the stuff that your friends were saying.
Okay. Wait, is it recording yet? Because she cursed.
It's recording.
Okay, so I asked her, do you care if your partner has an opposite gender best friend? She said yes, because the best friends be the side pieces, and then she want to smile at your face like she not effing on your end. That was the first girl response.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one, I asked her the same question. She said, no, I don't care, because I trust my man. So I know he wouldn't do no stuff like that, because I'll beat the F out of both of them and put them 10 feet underground. And yeah, it's all about trust, to be honest. If you can't trust your partner, then y'all shouldn't be talking. She's a nut. And then the last friend, she wrote a whole paragraph. She said, I don't care as long as there are boundaries. If their friendship ever seems like it's getting too close for comfort, then it could cause a problem. Not necessarily saying that he's cheating, but it can make you uncomfortable in a situation that's complicated to resolve, especially if that friend... Especially if that friend of that gender has been around your partners years before y'all met. Many people think that men and women can't be friends, and I think that's simply not true. I believe they can, as long as the initial intentions are truly based on only being friends.
Right.
They went deep.
They all went deep. I like bits of pieces of all three of your friends' responses. Right? So let me tell you how I feel. From personal experience, I want to say no, they cannot have a best friend of the opposite sex.
No bestie.
Right? Only because, like they said, they be sneaking around. Doing other stuff.
Everybody be trying to be sneaky.
Right. But you can't control who a person could be friends with. You can't control their life. If they're going to be friends with the person, they're going to do that. You have no control of who they could talk to, who they could be friends with. You don't want to be too controlling, right?
Facts, because then that's going to create another problem.
The only
especially
reason...
if they really not.
Right. They be friends, like the last friend said, if they was friends for a long time or whatever, even before you, then it doesn't matter to them. Right. If they're friends for a long time and they did something before they met you and they wasn't open to you about having a sexual relationship with them before, and now they're best friends, then I say get rid of them.
Word.
Get rid of them only because clearly it's still some type of feelings there, because you wasn't open enough to tell me that
to
y'all
be honest
had
about it.
right, yeah, that y'all had something going on before me. Y'all had more than just like a friendship before, a best friendship or whatever before me. You should have just been open enough to tell me like, oh yeah, me and this person had something or whatever. But it's
going on.
Yeah, but it's past that. So then I wouldn't feel any type of way. I'd be like, all right, you was open enough to tell me before it got out, before like somebody else told me or whatever, or before
I got to you in a different way.
Right. But if I find out from someone else and not from you, and then I have to approach you about it, then I'm gonna feel some type of way. Like I'm like, oh, why you didn't tell me?
It's like you're being sneaky.
Yeah, you are being
like
sneaky.
You got
it's
something
like
to hide and you're not being open.
Right. So that's only why I would say no. But if you choose to stay with the person, because you don't have to stay with the person, you got to leave the person or you can stay with them, even if they did have any type of sexual relationship going on with their best friend or whatever. You will have to either tell them to pick and choose, right?
Have you on the ultimatum? Like me or her? And you
because, or you just gonna have to just trust them and deal with the fact that when y'all not around each other, when they alone together, that something may go on. If you know alcohol is involved or any type of substances involved, substances involved, you never know.
That's another good topic that people would like blame them like cheating or doing something on like alcohol or just being under like any type of influence in general.
Right. So you can either stay or just trust them. But it's going to cause problems because sometimes, from personal experience, I'm talking about, sometimes the best friend may get a little too comfortable.
Or sometimes even if the two people are not having a secret relationship, the best friend would try to be funny just because they feel like they have the power to, you feel me, like antagonize you, if that's the right word.
Right, and they think that they may think that they could never be replaceable. Like, you can be replaced. You could always be replaced. Like anybody could be replaced. Like
word.
But if he truly loved the person, then there should no be any type of funny business or the person trying to be funny, because
some people just do it just so, you feel me, do it.
Because it's jealousy. They still have feelings. They want all the attention. And people nowadays as fake best friends. That's just like one of your friends said, the cover up. That's a cover up. A lot of times,
that's what I be thinking too. Like, you lying? What you mean? You got a girl best friend? I'm your best friend. Like,
especially if you never met them before. He or she wasn't like open enough to like have y'all spend time together.
I feel like that's important too. If you feel like you never like been around them before, not saying that you're supposed to hang out with your partner best friend, but I feel like you get vibes off of people.
Yes, like I have to meet the person. I have to see how they are. Like, if this is really somebody you want in your life, let me be around them. Let's spend time together, all three of us. You know. Or if she talking to somebody, or if he talking to somebody, like if they dealing with somebody, then they could come along. We could all do like double dates. We all could go and have fun together. It don't always have to be y'all two privately or whatever. Because
the only thing to me,
I was like, I need to get to like know them too, because you want them in your life. If you want me in your life for a long time, then we all need to be able to.
I feel like nowadays, the reason why I don't really have like a stern answer is because people lie a lot. So it's just like, you can just
Yes.
say you don't have a best friend, and then when I find out you cheating, you could be like, oh, that's my bestie, this, that, and the third. It's nothing more than whatever. But you feel me? Like, people just be fronting, so, but because you could honestly believe that somebody's just best friends, and it can turn out to, you feel me, like a bigger situation, or they could really be best friends. And I feel like a lot of people have been through a lot of stuff, others more than just relationships. So anybody might be on defense with their partner having a best friend. That's how I feel about it. But then I don't like to be controlling, because I have like,
you don't want to be controlling, but you's like, it's like, I already been through this. I don't really trust that.
Exactly.
I don't really want to go through that all over again, because I already know.
Exactly how it goes. So it's just like, I feel like it's a 50-50 situation, because you never know how it could turn out. But I really believe that people could just be friends and be opposites.
They could just be friends.
I have friends that have,
like I said, the person has to be open from the jump, from day one, open about it, and tell you like, this is my best friend. I known this person for a long time. Even if it's when y'all started dating, like, oh, I just met this person, they really cool or whatever. You have to bring the person around. Let me get to know them.
Facts.
Invite them over. Like, let's have an event. Invite them over. Let me fill them out. Let me get to know and see. Because when we all together and it seems awkward and they're making it awkward, then I'm gonna figure it out. Like, oh no, something is off. Something is not right.
I agree with you. So
it really have to do with just being open, like
being honest, and how like they come situation. Because I feel like when you find out and you approach them and they get on defense, it's like, you feel me, like, what you acting like that for if it's really just your best friend? Like, how come you never spoke to me about it, said nothing about it?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you with somebody, not saying that you need to know 100% of everything that they do, but I feel like that's something that your partner should know. And not because they trying to be in your business, but just because that's like, you being with somebody and you don't know where they work.
Right.
I feel like that's odd.
Like, you should let them know, like, what you doing, who you texting. If they ask you, like, if the person asks you, like, oh, who you texting, and you be like, oh, my best friend. Oh, okay, your best friend. All right, and you say the person's name. Like, I should know their name. I should know their first and last name. I should know where they're from. Like, where you found them from. Like, I should be able to know where you get them from. Like,
yeah, like where y'all met. You feel me?
Yeah, like, how did this even come upon? Like, did you ask to be best friends with this person, or like, where did this come from? Like, or just did it naturally happen? Like, especially.
And that's another thing. Like, when people have childhood best friends, it's like,
that's different. You just said, oh, it's from my childhood. But if you met the person while we was in a relationship, it's like, where they come from?
That I don't. To me, that's weird. I don't know. Like,
so all right. So if you in a relationship, they can't have a best friend that while y'all in a relationship, they can't meet any new female friends or any new friends.
They could meet people, but like, I don't know. That's just like, that would make me feel uncomfortable if we together for a minute and then out of nowhere you just pop out with a best friend, because I'm just like, that would make me feel uncomfortable in a relationship, because it's just like, what you need a best friend for if you ain't already have one?
Right.
Like, what you trying to say? Like, that's how I feel about it. But some people really genuinely just be friends. But it just always that, to me, it's always that thought in the back of my head, like, they could dead be lying.
Yeah.
And
all right. So I have a question. So what if they do meet somebody while y'all in a relationship, but the person, they like the same sex?
Oh, if it's this,
they don't like. Well, they don't like. Like, say they don't like guys. Say they like girls.
Wait, if my boyfriend get a best friend that's a guy?
No. Say if your boyfriend get a best friend, a female best friend, right? It's a girl best friend, but she likes girls and only likes girls. is that okay? You'll still let them like be?
To me, that's fine. But I don't know if I watch too many movies, but people be lying. So it's just like she can be saying she's gay and then low-key like end up wanting him, and then they could fall in love or something. But I think that's just because I watch too much TV, because that be happening in the movies.
No, that happens in real life too. People be lying.
Where people be falling in love. I thought she was gay.
Right, like
so it just comes back to the fact that anybody could be lying about anything. So you just have to.
Right.
You can't even be careful with something like that, because you're not. It sounds like a silly reason to break up with your partner just because they have a best friend. But if it's making you uncomfortable, then you should leave.
I agree. You should definitely leave. You should run. Soon as they start being weird, that's your sign to get out the door. Unless you feel like y'all could get past it and... But if not, if it's causing too many problems, if she trying to be funny, or if he trying to be funny, if... Also, if it causes an argument, and their best friend is arguing with you, and they're not getting checked, getting put in their place,
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Then you definitely gotta go. You gotta leave. That means if they're not willing to put the person in check for you, then you just gotta go.
Because it's a respect thing.
Yes, it's out of respect. Like, why are you arguing with me, and you know that they supposedly really want to be with me, and you know they like me. Like,
especially if like I ain't started either, it would just seem like you coming from a place of, you feel me, trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Or like if it's over something silly, like you trying to get me out of character. I just feel like people just be lying, so you really just have to take your chances sometimes and see what happens.
You really do, because people, you never know.
Words. People be lying about anything nowadays, and I just don't see why. Or like, if you like your best friend, just date them. Why you trying to have a girlfriend and a best friend if you really like want your besties?
That's exactly. Like, what's the point of keeping them around if you really want the other person?
The best friend. But people really do stuff like that, and it just be weird. Cause I would never. I feel like I would never put nobody in a situation to where like I knew that I liked that person and I still tried to pursue you.
Right.
Cause it's gonna fall down in the end just because my intentions was never like, or my feelings were never for you. You get what I'm saying? You were just there just to be there. And that could hurt somebody, like feeling that could hurt them really bad emotionally and mess with their like self-confidence. So people doing that, it just leads to a whole bunch of other problems when you could have just dated your best friend.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people be having best friends and they have a crush on their best friend, but the other best friend don't like them back. So then that's when they really try to be funny, if they've been making like, you feel me, like flirting with the best friend and the best friend not giving them the time of day. And then you come around, they definitely gonna try to like make you uncomfortable, for sure. So it just depends on the person.
Yeah, it really does. It depends like how strong of a person you are. If you're willing to go through that, go ahead. But I would say no from the jump. Nope. Just because people be lying, like she said, people be lying. But if it's a friendship that they had for years before you, it's a childhood friendship because they families grew up together or whatever, you have no control of that because they still gonna be around at the end of the day because they've been around for so long. And if they want to continue to have them in their life, that's just, it's just, you can't really do nothing much about it. But as long as if they didn't have like nothing sexual going on, if they had something sexual going on and they wasn't,
did that before.
Yeah, if they had something sexual going on, leave. That's the first thing you do. Leave. I don't think you should talk it out or nothing, because they should have just straight up told you, like, yeah, we had something going on before. What I was about to say was, me personally, I don't understand how somebody could, you know, become friends, best friends with somebody that they like or eventually will like. Because anybody I make my best friend, I would never ever date them. I would never even do anything sexual with them. Like, I don't even see them like that. I see them as like
a brother
or a sister, right? So I don't understand how people nowadays just make anybody their best friend.
It just be like, what's the point?
Yeah, like, you don't just consider anybody your best friend. I'm not gonna friend up or best friend somebody that I wanna actually be in a relationship with, or actually want to do something sexual with them, because like that's not friendships. That's not what y'all do. Yeah, that's no. Just make that your crush. For that.
But some people find the joy in it, I guess, having two people. Because some people do feed off of drama in big situations. So that's really my opinion on it. I just feel like always be on your P's and Q's and don't put anything past people. But also sometimes it's good to take a chance on things because you never know.
Right. I like that. That's some great advice. That's some really great advice. I said that's some great advice.
That's what I learned from high school.
I'm just gonna make you the only guest, because I was gonna call other people, but I'll make you the only guest.
This one is personally for Ashanti.
Yes, it is, guys. Meet Ashanti. Shout out to Ashanti and her friends for sharing their opinion on this topic. It was really great responses.
Quick chats with Jazzy. Y'all better subscribe. Like,
comment, and share.
Comment.
Yes. And we'll see you in the next podcast video.
Later.
Bye, guys.